Is today the day that we finally get some clarity on Ten Hag's future? Reliable sources have said it will be this week. Ineos will end the season review this week. It will be Wednesday, Thursday or Friday. Wednesday's been, today is Thursday. Please give us some updates on the manager's situation. But one update coming in from a very reliable Netherlands source that's been spot on with all their info is that Ten Hag leaving via mutual agreement cannot be ruled out. We're going to get into the latest on that. Could that be a possibility? Could that be one of the reasons for the delay? They're trying to agree the terms of Ten Hag leaving. Interesting stuff as well. Also, we've got loads of news on the transfer front on João Gomes, Fofana, Todibo, Lena Euro, Branthwaite, Gueye, Kilman, and more. So do stay tuned because I think the transfer news is a lot more interesting than the manager news at the moment because the manager news is And then we've got updates from Fabrizio Romano confirming we will sign a left back and a potential target, who the main target could be. And then also more exits have been confirmed from United. So let's dive into the first story. Manchester United season review and Ten Hag's future decision will not go beyond the week, is what's been said by multiple sources, not just Jamie Jackson. Now, interestingly, one thing that's coming out from the Netherlands from a very, very reliable Dutch source was this. Erik Ten Hag is currently on holiday in Ibiza, and as he ponders his future at Manchester United or elsewhere, there's doubt from United fans and from Ten Hag about whether they can continue together. The scenario of parting ways amicably cannot be ruled out. There have been extensive discussions at Manchester United over the past week or so about Ten Hag's future, and part of the delay is due to the risk Sergeant Ratcliffe sees in any decision. Whether he chooses to stick or twist, the success or otherwise of that decision will rest on him and the management team he's putting in place. Ten Hag leaving on mutual agreement is becoming an increasing possibility. Now, interestingly, one thing Ineos want is a head coach, not a manager. Erik Ten Hag, when he joined Man United in his interview, said it was a must for him. He wouldn't have accepted the job, and he said this in interviews before, if he wasn't given control of the transfers. Ten Hag in interviews, Ten Hag, when he got the Man United job, made it clear, there was conditions in which he'd accept the job, and that was to say in transfers a certain amount of power. He's not going to get that at Man United under Ineos. It's going to be more like the structure Brighton have, where they have their own way of playing, their own recruitment, and De Zerbi comes in and just coaches the way they want to play. That's what Ineos want. They want a head coach. There's a possibility that Ineos may want Ten Hag to stay. There's a possibility. I think the fact that they're talking to other managers suggests they're probably looking elsewhere, but that might be because they're not confident Ten Hag will stay and agree to their terms. But there could be a possibility that Ineos want Ten Hag to stay and agree to their new terms. But Ten Hag might be like, no, I want a say in the transfer window. Well, to be honest, taking Ten Hag's power in the transfer window isn't that bad. But, he has to have some kind of say in agreement. And Ineos might be saying, yeah, you're just going to do the coaching. We're going to deal with this. We're going to deal with that, And Ten Hag might not like that. Ten Hag likes, Ten Hag likes to be involved. He likes to be a manager. Is he willing to sit back and be a head coach? I mean, I think he is, because I think he genuinely believes he can build something at United, and I think he trusts Ineos from what I say. But there's a possibility there could be a mutual agreement if they do decide to keep Ten Hag. But Ten Hag is kind of like, nah, I'm going to walk away. I want to be a manager. I want to have more of a say. I want to have more power, more control. Ten Hag could maybe walk away. But again, the tide is still shifting towards Ten Hag leaving. But at the end of the day, the media don't know much. Rod Dawson came out and said Ollie's joining Besiktas. An hour later, he was obviously not. They've got a new manager. It's not Ollie. And he's one of the guys feeding us Ten Hag's going to go, Ten Hag's going to go. What's interesting is, and I'm going to get into this, what the United Muppeteers said is, but they've not been fed any new information since the FA Cup final. I don't think anyone has, but I think because Ineos are still having talks of a manager candidates, all the media jumping on saying, yeah, Ten Hag's going to be sacked, Ten Hag's going to be sacked. Well, we don't know. They might surprise us. Then we'll get into that. But I want to dive into the transfer news. I want to dive into general news and updates. There's a little bit of takeover news and manager news in this, because I'm kind of fed up of talking about the managers. Until something happens, we're just going around in circles. Now, FreeIJJIJ4 on Twitter obviously does summaries of the United Muppeteers 1 hour podcast, where United Muppeteers are very reliable source and have been very accurate with their information. He said this, or United Muppeteers said this. United's interest in Tosin was there, but the player's wage demand was significant for what United wanted to offer. From what James can gather, Chelsea were offering 130 to 140k a week. We know Manchester United did not want to offer that kind of money because he was going to be a backup centre-back. He was going to be a backup centre-back earning more than, like Lisandro Martinez, for example, the same as Lisandro Martinez. But Lisandro Martinez start week in, week out. Tosin's a backup centre-back that's come from Fulham on like 20 grand a week. I think hopefully Ineos have learned from putting Anthony on 20k a week at Ajax to 200k a week at Man United, meaning Anthony earns more than Bruno Fernandes. If you sign a player like Tosin and he's earning 20k a week at Fulham, put him on 70k a week at Man United or something like that. and he wanted more money, and that's fair enough. It was said that Branthwaite continues to be the main priority for centre-back, and I think we all know that Branthwaite is the main priority for centre-back. He's who those inside Man United love, but it depends on the price. They want him for less than 60 million. I think we can get him for less than 60 million because Everton will be under pressure to sell, and it's not like Elise where there's going to be lots of competition. There isn't crazy amounts of competition for the Branthwaite deal as well, because all the top clubs have a centre-back, really. It was said that Branthwaite and Nasir and Kilman are left centre-back options, so is Gay, and Todibo, Euro, maybe Chalobah are right centre-back options, as it seems. So they seem to be the three main options for left and right centre-back. I do think keep an eye on Anselmo. I know the United Marketeers haven't mentioned anything about Anselmo, but I do think keep an eye on it as well. Todibo would be a very easy deal to do. The United Marketeers have said Todibo is a very easy deal to do. I think United are looking at other targets before they do anything for Todibo, which I think is why the news has been quiet for Todibo, because United know the player wants to move. Obviously, Nice and Man United, the Ineos relationship. It's believed that Todibo is a very easy deal to do, which is I think is why United are focusing elsewhere for now before they get Todibo over the line. And it said that United is moving on deals and they're talking with representatives and talking with multiple targets at the same time. So while we're not doing anything, while we're not buying anyone, and I don't think we can until the manager situation is sorted, so more reason for the manager situation to be sorted. Monitoring FC is back, Talking FC is back, Contact FC is back, where they are working on deals, just not signing players. So who are some of the deals and the names that they could be working on? It was said there was contact for João Neves, but United don't want to pay the fee Benfica wants, which we know. We said that in yesterday's video. I'm sure we like João Neves, but will we pay the fee? I doubt it. It said ideally we want two midfielders, but we need to move on to some current players. I think if Eriksen, McTominay and Casemiro leave, we buy two midfielders. If it's just Casemiro, buy one. And João Gomez is an alternative to Neves. He would cost 40 to 50 million pounds. I think João Gomez for 40 million is something United would definitely look at, and they've also had good contacts with the representative of Fofana, who will be available for 25 million. But we also have a lot of competition from Italy and other English clubs for Fofana. But I think Fofana to United would be a great deal. Ideally, both Fofana and João Gomez would probably be the ideal situation in midfield, considering we'll probably be losing Amrabat and Casemiro. We need two more defensive-minded players in, both who can cover mass amounts of ground at a Premier League proven, which brings us into the final bit of the transfer update coming out from the Muppeteers, and that's that they don't know anything about the Ben Sheaf links. I've not heard anything about that, but it could be one to keep an eye on. Sesko's name is on the list, but the problem is his release clause, which is true. We like Sesko, we'd love Sesko, but I think he'll go to Arsenal. They're willing to pay the release clause. I think that he's a priority for Arsenal, whereas for us, he's not necessarily a priority. It was said that we have names other than Elise on the list for the wing, but he is the top choice, but we'll need to move quickly. Hopefully we get manager clarity today or tomorrow and we can move quickly on Elise. But again, I think what we do on Elise depends on offloading Sancho and Greenwood. And offloading Sancho is going to be difficult because Dortmund basically, as much as they twerked for him this whole time, don't actually want to buy him. He's not a priority. And selling Greenwood, I mean, he's had a decent season at Getafe, so hopefully we're able to sell him. But obviously for non-footballing reasons, a lot of clubs won't be approaching us for him. It was said Doué is on the list if we can't get Elise, and Desiree Doué, what a baller, what an absolute baller. James said he's not got any information on the manager situation since the FA Cup, but he does know that Poch is high on the list and that, they have been in contact with the managers, and Bruno wants a new contract and Ineos don't want to lose him. This is what basically the Muppeteers were saying in their latest update as well. Now, I think at the end of the day, I think we'll look at Doué, we'll look at Elise, we'll look at Sesko, but I think at the first signing will be a centre-back followed by probably a midfielder before we make moves for these players. I think Bruno obviously wants a new contract, that makes sense, but I think at the end of the day, nothing's going to happen until we get clarity on the manager situation. One thing that's been said as well is that United will sign a left-back. We like Maatsen, but I think he's going to go to Dortmund. We like Aït-Nouri, but he's going to be a bit expensive. It was also said that Manchester United are monitoring Bournemouth left-back Kerkez as a potential left-back signing, said Romano, and no talks have taken place yet regarding Kerkez, but he's highly appreciated internally, and Bournemouth will ask for an important fee, and they won't make it easy. I think one of those where Bournemouth don't want to lose him, they'll probably ask us to pay ridiculous money, and that's up to us, to be honest. And then it was said that discussions remain open with Johnny Evans and Heaton over a new contract. Brandon Williams will leave. I have to say, you don't keep Varane, but you want to keep Evans and Heaton. Look, Evans had a good season, and Evans is a good player. He's a good leader. But give Evans a job in the coaching staff. Let's not be giving him a new contract, because at the end of the day, Varane played more minutes than Evans. Varane played more games than Evans. Evans had just as big an injury issues as Varane. I know he's not on the wages of Varane, but at the end of the day, we should be getting Evans off the wage bill and actually bringing someone new in. And I like Johnny Evans. I think he's had a good season, but we are Manchester United. We're not, let's get rid of Varane and give Johnny Evans a new deal and give Heaton a new deal. Well, Heaton, it doesn't really matter. He's a backup keeper. He's English. It counts as homegrown, but I'd have personally let Johnny Evans go, and I'd sign 2 defenders, if I'm going to be honest with you, especially considering the way we let Varane walk. I think it's a bit weird, definitely a bit of a British bias. Anyway, guys, please do hit that like button if you have not already. Of course, subscribe down below to Alice Talks Football if you're new. We might get a manager update in today, so make sure you've got the post notification bell on, and I will keep you updated on all the manager situation and more. See you next time. Bye.